recording. Wait. It's the kingdom and the power and the glory. Kingdom, yeah. Well, that was just a second. I gotta focus on it. 1 second. Okay. Okay, we're good to go. Now, so do you want me to tell you what it was?
Oh yeah, it's about soap, isn't it?
No, it's not, believe it or not. Oh, I can give you an example.
Sun lotion or lotion? Or
No. Keep guessing.
cloths? Washcloths?
No. You're kind of close in terms of semantic field.
I just read the article, and that's what I got. Because it says don't put alcohol or don't put anything but water on it. But there's something I said. There's a word I don't know in the beginning. Tahla, and I don't know if that means clothes. Actually, tahla.
My vocabulary is like less than that.
Oh,
In
and
Arabic.
Bill Malty.
Oh,
Bill Malty, you'll be the word. Oh, maybe the word.
Or Shaniya.
I'm trying to say.
So you can also already kind of pass these out, I guess. I have a note there.
Oh, para escribir.
Lean back. I hope I'm doing that.
I think it's funny how English uses the word right, but everybody else uses scribe or scribe. So, all the languages they piece out. Yeah.
Is that?
Is there a layer of English or English?
Certainly, if it's in English, let's see. So if it's a piece, then it had to be deep at some point. Because could be considered. Cool. So I don't know. Maybe maybe it was chiseling something and meat.
And birds can use the beak because of sharp. They can describe things.
It's a possibility. I don't know.
So you can tell people describe the answers that you see.
We could. But that's a loan word. Right is Germanic. Scribe is from
It
Latin.
doesn't exist in any other
Germanic
language.
So,
Right. Aritian. I don't know why they used to say Aritian. Now they just say right.
because that's the perfective aspect. It means to completion.
Oh.
So I guess I don't know. No,
Yeah, Red Cross is trying to call me. I'm like, no, thanks, Dracula.
I don't answer unknown. So, you're right. Name?
Yes. Mikhail. Mikhail.
Absolutely no one.
I think this word bahal means life.
Kaf should be a prefix meaning like, or kaf in Arabic. Okay. So it would be min tawam.
So it would be min bahal, min bahalala. I don't know where B came from, but that's the word for like or such or as.
Oh, it's a preposition, so that makes sense that it should be in. It's not crazy.
Min bahalala.
This is
It's
technically.
to be off min hala. Min hala. That sounds more Arabic-y. Well, when people are like, so what do you mean by alveolar and all this other stuff, I'm not going to answer these questions.
You got me. I got your back. Do you trust me?
Yeah. Good. Because I'm sure that someone like someone is gonna try to be like, so.
Listen, I'll try to. I haven't. Before I put it up, I'll try to find the point and edit it. I don't know how to do that yet, so I haven't tried to do that. But I'm sure it's easy. They make everything very user friendly.
Or should I say, people who know a lot of information may ask me like what approximates
or used to. You know what I mean? Let's see, how many, I just want to make sure we get the same amount. Hi, welcome. Hello. Am I going?
Yes.
Excellent. I don't believe we've met before, have we?
That's my first time.
I'm here.
Hi, Sharon.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Michael. Nice to meet you.
I'm going to be presenting and have a seat. In the meantime, all the cool kids wearing name tags, so. And we're all cool kids here, so don't worry. So guess what it was that I sent you. You want me to tell you, or do you want to still guess?
I guessed everything I could think
Okay.
of.
Goggles.
Goggles.
Yeah, for swimming. I was looking at it and flipping through the little packet that was with it, and I looked and I said, no way. It was in Maltese. They had Maltese at the very end of it, which is, I've seen instructions in English and Spanish and French, sometimes even some European languages, but I've never seen Maltese. Yeah, it was fantastic.
United States.
Wow. Michael's learning Maltese, so that's why. So I took a picture of it and sent it to him, and I had him guess what it was talking about, which is something I could not do, but he might be able to. He knew it had to do with water. It was something to do with water and washing.
Soap or cloth.
So it was talking about how to care for it.
I love the
What's water? Me?
Ilma.
Ilma. That's interesting.
Ilma.
Oh, ilma, the water.
But that was become contracted. So
okay. Oh, by the way, this is, I'll say it when everybody gets here, but it's not a polyglot group. Like for people to compare, like, oh, how many languages do you speak? I can't stand that. Those sort of things. There are too many arrogant folks. Yeah, there's too much of that, and I think it ruins the fun of it. And I want this to be a fun thing for everyone. So we'll see if that works out. I do my best, but it's really it's a democratic thing. If everyone agrees to those general guidelines, then it works. Some people kind of get out of line sometimes, but for the most part, it's a safe, fascinating community, which I like. I had to find my people because I was getting people really annoyed talking about language all the time.
Yeah, people that are interested really don't get it.
It makes, and I found it makes them angry. They get angry.
Trying to show them off.
Yeah.
That is the common perception if we do anything with languages.
Well, so do you crochet or knit?
I do both. I just see while I was waiting here.
Yeah, that's what my wife does. She's productive. I like that. Yeah, sometimes you'll find like it doesn't matter how many people sign up. It's completely random how many people actually show up. I was thinking of almost like charging $1 just to give people incentive to actually come.
Yeah, you pay for it, you show up for it. Actually, it's not. exhibit, like, that's not a bad idea.
Although I think people just won't sign up. Potentially, I don't know. I'll consider it for some hot topics that we have in the future.
Second one was acquisition. Volume. That.
Yeah, well, I think for accent training we're gonna have a big. Yeah, especially since I haven't published it yet. It's gonna be here too. I got the room. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Thank God.
What if you want to learn more too?
I don't know. I just wanted to learn something. I would come over there and class script and I could find things and it's phones and like they use Python. So I found it wasn't tied to the Quran and it was more visual. So my phone was it's actually more visual intelligent than
Yeah, it's a nice surprise that you're really not going out of your way.
yeah.
And it makes sense.
And there wasn't any, there was after the Normans, but there wasn't really
Or they maybe just have battle days. I don't remember.
about, yeah.
I know we had
15,
dinner at a Turkish restaurant there. And just, you know, the kids did it, they were doing all the.
Oh, you've been to Malta?
Yeah, I've been there.
Oh, cool.
It was a few years ago, but,
Oh, nice.
I
Oh,
just couldn't remember this, from the history lesson they gave us as we were eating dinner, it was just sort of tangentially come to and have a battle, or if they'd actually occupied for a while.
No, they came, it was a quick battle. They wanted to take it over whenever, that was when Suleiman was in power and the Ottoman Empire was standing. But thankfully, I don't know who came in, and either the British or some European power came in and helped them out.
Yeah, they said,
greetings.
Trivia fact for the day, that Malta was the most heavily bombed place during World War II.
Really?
Because it was they were trying, the Germans were trying to get the British to leave Malta because it was convention against the
Mm.
and so they kept bombing Malta.
Mm.
So just the kind of bomb drop.
Mm. A new man. Who's this strapping young gentleman here? No, no. The Aztecs guy, isn't it? Yeah. How you doing? You got a friend like that? I've been here, it's been months, but I've been away. Yeah. Yeah. Forget things like that. That's right in your mind, huh? Welcome. Hi, definitely. Don't remember. Yeah. Otherwise, come on. You guys have me just scared now instead of.
Oh, yeah, Neil Long. Yeah, we had them at different places. That we had them there for a while.
What do you do? I just keep it in the own example. I'll say my best for that. Thank you for covering. Let's that. That's all right. That's a good thing. My dad thinks the same I just said before I started. Okay. Can I wipe it off? Yeah, just wipe out my hand, or if you want, I can give you the erase. Oh, there's one right there. It's just dry erase. Saving the planet. One name tag at a time. Well, it's on my working Johnson. There is one on there. So it's always nice to get back. I'm working on musical kind of like I just like to Oh, you will? The box, it's closer to, it sounds to me, you know, I'm not more like well, but they say so, you know, I'm not interested in that. Maybe going back tired on yeah, you know, what are you doing? Some people, I know. They don't have what I'm using for it's obviously orange. Hang out what do you I know, right?
Oh, I don't know, I'm not. They don't understand this. But I
I'm used to we're grown, man. Yeah.
Make the decision on the next week Chinese. In a while there. Certainly. A year ago. I didn't. Maybe you all. Maybe older some I said something.
It was such a, I mean, it was very
You're something comes and that's what you know where it is. Te puedo ayudar en algo, te puedo ayudar en algo y sentaré ellos.
Doing good. Yeah.
Hey, you're gonna be fine, my friend. I'm gonna give him one more minute, about 10 minutes, I think, is a nice period.
Because I know there's some differences.
Hey, everybody. I think that's probably the nicest way I can get people's attention. Yeah, I bought that online. It's really nice. So, welcome. I see some familiar faces, and I see some not so familiar faces. So, I'll give my little explanation of who we are and why the heck we're here. Some of you have heard it before. I apologize if I bore you with this one, but my name is Peter. I started this group about a little over 2 years ago, I think. It's getting to be 2.5, I think. Just out of necessity, because I was bugging the heck out of everyone I knew. My family and friends did not want to hear me talk about language. I would talk about Welsh and Irish and this and that. It's so fascinating, and I was in Germany for 10 years. Don't you want to talk about it? No, we don't. People would get angry. I thought only religion and politics were taboo topics. I soon learned that language was a taboo topic, and I said, no, I can't stand it. I've got to be weirdos like me out there who also want to talk about this stuff. And so my sister, God bless her, she said, hey, have you ever heard of meetup.com? And I said, no, what's that? And she said, you should start up a group. Oh, all right, is it free? She said, no. But I thought it was worth it anyway. So I created this thing, and the first night was a success. We had, I think, like over 20 people show up. I realized, wow, there are people who want to talk to other people. They don't want to bore anyone. They want to learn from each other. So that's kind of what I see this group as being, a place to learn from each other and to get excited. And it's not a polyglot group. If any of you here only speaks one language, or sometimes feel like they don't even speak their own language, that's fine. You're welcome here. I want you to feel safe and comfortable, and I want you to get excited about it. I want you to believe that you can learn other languages and learn things about them, because it's all about how languages work in general. But today we'll be looking at a snapshot, which is what I like to do sometimes. I present often, but you also present. Don't get scared. I'm not going to assign anything to anyone. But if you have an idea for a cool presentation, even if you don't want to do it yourself, just have a talk with me or send me a message, and we can make that happen. Because I think if we only do things that I'm interested in, it might get a little too boring. I bet you have things that I certainly would like to learn about. Like this, I don't know anything about Aztec at all. I'm excited about it. Oh yeah, if you liked what you saw, Please know that this is out of my pocket. I certainly won't make up for my expenses here, but maybe I could break even one of these days. Feel free to drop $1 or $2 in if you want to. No pressure. This is not, I don't charge you necessarily. I recommend it, but this was not free. But look, it allows us to see a big presentation. So, got that out of the way. I hate asking for money. But anyhow, I think I want to go around, say a quick thing about who we are. Karen, who are you and why are you here?
I'm a chief pathologist and I'm Ursula, and I majored in looking at a university, which needs no pacemaker, and I also lived in other countries such as Geneva for about 2 years in Belgrade, which is Serbia, and lived then too, but only Serbia for a year, and I know that I sort of know too, I know these particular French people, and no one knew that.
I'm David. I enjoy language very much. I was lived in the 20th decade of my life. And I speak German and Spanish, but I just like languages in general.
You're in the right place.
Karen, I was a language major, but I like languages. After the morning, I just retired, moved down to New Orleans 2 months ago.
I'm Eduardo. I'm a software developer, and I'm really interested in languages. I come to the
I'll present you.
Hi everyone, my name is Michael. I'm majoring in linguistics just because language is just too fast, so fascinating. I don't know what else.
That's good enough for me.
I'm John, and I took French in high school, and now I've since expanded it to Italian, Spanish. I served as a peaceful volunteer in Bulgaria, so also know Bulgarian and some Serbian actually, and just been very, very curious about languages. I don't use it in my work. I'm getting a master's degree over at NC State. I was nearby, so I just decided to come in and participate a little bit, learn a little bit more, and just talk about languages.
I'm afraid I have a bachelor's in translation. I'm also very interested in very technical languages, German, and some French and Spanish, and
I'm Mark, and I had some background in German and Spanish as well, and just out of curiosity, this thing is particularly interesting to me because I was in Mexico many years ago, and I've been to the Nahuatl speaking village, in the islands of Mexico. And I didn't know what I was hearing.
That's what he's for.
I'm reading about that, and I just feel smattering of technical languages, just opinions and college.
I'm Matthew. I was a linguistics minor in NC State.
I'm Nahuatl. I started learning French by accident, and then I came to the US, and then English, and then I thought I might go continue learning Mandarin and stuff. And yes, I was in Geneva last year. I think it was actually, experience was trying to remember, like, oh, these people are but now I'm kind of
I'd say they, I would say to the French, still because from time to time, I also have been trying to keep this open to kind of,
We do have some Chinese members. By the way, this is sometimes a great opportunity to find a language partner to practice with. Stranger things have happened in this meeting. So just so nobody freaks out, this is being recorded. It'll be available online. I hope everybody's okay with that. Yes, that's it.
I want to know if you're dealing with a language family, or because I'm sure there are many other names where language is stuck and religious dialect, or other languages within the Aztecs.
That's Michael's going to talk to you about that. That's the first. I think it's the first slide he's going to talk about. So get ready. So this will be available online, including the handout later on. So without further ado, my wonderful right-hand man, Mr. Michael Kai.
Right. Good evening, everybody. So I'll be presenting tonight on Aztec, or Nahuatl as it's called. So this is a map of. It's not a pre-Columbian map, but it's a map of where they are spoken today. So in the top right here, that's a more. These are different languages, which is what your question was. A lot of people who speak these, like the native speaker I'm in contact with right now, they consider them different dialects, but they're not mutually intelligible. Most of them aren't. Yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, something like that, I suppose. I would say more like Romanian and Italian, because it's a lot more distant. But yeah, but the largest one, the central dialects, which is in black here, is where the original Aztec Empire's grounds were, which is around where Central or Mexico City is today. And then it kind of just spread out from there when they broke away from another tribe called Nahuatls. And then pretty much everywhere where the language is spoken today is actually the extent of where the Aztec Empire was originally. And then you have pockets in random places like Mexicanero way up here. And then you have a dialect down here. I believe Pipil is a Mayan language, but most of these are still spoken in full swing today and being passed on to the next generation. So the most widely spoken one are these Huasteca dialects right here. They have an Eastern and a Western variant, and the Eastern variant is where there's more things available in that dialect, and there's also a Western variant as well. Like SIL, the Summer Institute of Linguistics, and other institutions have translated like the Bible, for example, in both Eastern and Western Huasteca Nahuatl, whereas other dialects don't have that kind of stuff. But the only dictionary really for all this stuff is they have to go to classical Nahuatl for that, even though classical Nahuatl's really far from all these dialects. I think the closest language to the original classical Nahuatl that was spoken during Spanish times, whenever the Spanish Inquisition was going on, is the one spoken in Nahuatl, which is a district of Mexico City. So next one. What makes this language different from the others? It has a few sounds that are unique, and also the language, much like a lot of Native American languages, if for anybody that studied like Cherokee or Quechua or Tupi or anything like that, they connect their roots, like different roots that may change in the beginning. I can't. It's kind of difficult to explain. I had some examples. I have examples coming up. but they basically they glue on, like, it would be kind of like I make a car, just mushed into one sentence, and that's how they construct their words. They take a phrase with verbs and objects and subjects and thoughts, and they put it into one word. So whenever you read Native American languages, they usually look like big giant unpronounceable lumps of words, but they are like full sentences.
Nasty mock translation of Native American names for babies was died of man or boy whose mother saw such and such before giving birth. It'll be that complex. And of course it's mocking and it's probably not scientific, but it might be based on one translation of the name.
Yeah, and Aztec has a lot of there's a lot of things that are just so strangely translated that it just makes your head go, how did they come up with that? But that's what they did before Columbus got there, or not Columbus, but Cortez and those other people.
It was nice.
I don't know.
Friendly gentlemen who came by.
But it's similar. It's sort of similar to Turkish and Finnish for anybody that's studied those before.
Hungarian too, actually.
Oh yeah,
Hungarian
yeah, similar to Finnish. So the sound system. This is classical Nahuatl, which most of these languages came from originally. But there were also, but many people think that classical Nahuatl was a sociolect, which just means that people like clergy and the ruling class and people that had a lot of money and stuff spoke.
Was it classical Nahuatl which was spoken at the time of the Spanish Portuguese invasion? And does that then post that is with the infiltration by other languages and
This is what they spoke and partially wrote. I don't really understand their writing, but this is what they spoke during when the Spanish got there originally.
Okay.
But most linguists believe that classical Nahuatl had already broken into different dialects, because the class that, how do I say, commoners spoke a dialect that was probably similar to classical Nahuatl, but the higher class spoke this. Question?
The classical, is it a reconstruction or is it actually like a corpus?
There actually it's a corpus of mostly religious and astronomical. I don't even know why I'm trying to say that stuff. Astronomical stuff. But yeah, it's a real language that they wrote, not a reconstruction.
Yeah, I think when the Spanish got there and they used some of the scribes, they taught them how to read Spanish, and they transcribed this stuff into Nahuatl written and from the script. I know they got that from the 16th.
Yeah, there was some pre-Columbus literature that they wrote with these glyphs. I mean, some of the Spanish were able to make out like some basic prayers and some stuff about astronomy and ritual human sacrifice and stuff like that. But it's not a fully functioning language that they write with the glyphs. It's kind of, that's why nobody really understands how it's not like Mayan glyphs.
Only the Maya that written language pre-Hispanic. Actually can write every single word you say. The Aztecs,
yeah, the Aztec writing was actually influenced by Mayan writing, by something called not Aztec. It was Tepetec, some kind of. I mean, one of those kinds of systems that were all from classical Maya, the classical Maya age, and it kind of moved along, like chocolate moved from Mayans to Aztecs, and then they were, I guess they were kind of developing a glyph system, and I'm sure in several centuries it would have been fully developed, but at the time it was in its infancy. They only had one. They only had one gigantic book called the Codex. I think it's called. But the Codex, it was a codex they wrote before Columbus about how they defeated the Tepetecs. That's written in this weird.
Is this type of this glyph, a type of writing, something like cuneiform writing in the Middle East, or something like that?
It's not like Maya, which actually has like sounds and different individual. I mean, it's like a whole language. It's just. It was just. I don't know. It was kind of.
So the glyph is their alphabet, is that right? Or?
I mean, they have sounds for these different. I guess. I mean, nobody, like I said, nobody really understands it. The people who originally wrote it didn't really. Spanish was easier for them to write because they didn't have a fully developed glyph system. It wasn't like a syllabary that anybody could learn.
Michael, before we move on to the next slide, can we tell everybody what that funky symbol where it says ventral Africa? The T and then the L with a squiggly line. We just want to show people
This.
Has anyone ever seen that before? Anyone has an idea what that might sound like? Oh, we've got a ring right here. Isn't it just adding the voice sound after? Adding people, it's taking away the voice from the L, exactly. So it's, I think I see it as like the retainer, like you've got a retainer in your mouth. Geez, guys,
It's so hard not to roll your R whenever you're trying to say that. Not what.
So in a sense, they spoke Nahuatl, right?
Yeah, not what.
At least that one song, Nahuatl. Yeah, well, but yeah, the close end is
Shashkali. Shaskamati. Thank you.
But not voice. We agree, no voice in here.
Not voice, not voice.
Lateral one.
No way. Just stay put, man.
But yeah, and
We could revisit that, I think, in the interest of time. Who in this game?
okay. I wanted to go over the differences, but don't worry about that. So agglutination which basically just means that you're adding on, like adding a root to another root to another root. Kind of like how do I say? I'm trying to think of a word in like Latin or something that's like really long.
Farfagnugan, Japanese. Well done, Sean. Or Farfagnugan, both German words.
Yeah, I mean you get the idea.
What about entity?
Exactly. That's how that will work. Like anti, that's established. Yeah, and then the sounds can change. Yeah, and then depending on where a sound might be in another sound, like I don't know the examples off the top of my head. There might, I know Inuktitut does this a lot in northern Canada. Whenever you have like a word like Imiluma Vunga means I want water, that Vunga can become Yunga, can become Kunga, depending on what the last letter of the last word was. So these.
What is the more to water? I mean, what changes it? You said.
Vunga means I. It's at the end of the word, but the like I think the general Unga would be the beginning sound. I guess it'd be like consonant harmony. If that's
or is it Sandy? Is it an instance of Sandy that in certain phonotypic contexts it changes? I think that might be like good for a questions after we see some examples because it's all right now, it's very theoretical, and I'm like dying to see that.
Sorry, I just wanted to give everybody an idea of what agglutination was, since it's not a word you see in everyday English. So this is an example of how they would kakika.
It's tough to say. I applaud this man for saying it.
So I mean, this, like for example, and to break this down, you have she, which is an imperative version of she, and imperative just means like you're saying a command to somebody, and then netch would mean literally means to me, and that changes depending on who it is. Like to you would be different, to he would be different, to us would be different. And then tra would be like indefinite particle, which means the closest translation in general Aztec would be like someone or something, not like to a specific person, like to David or to Esma. It would be like to somebody, So it'd be like you all, someone, whoever's listening, listen to me. And then I'm not sure why they use a second imperative in the sentence.
Make it plural. The first one is singular. Is that what the S means under?
Yeah, singular. And then the kah at the end would be imperative for them to listen to you. But why they use a imperative in the beginning is beyond me. That's just, this is how native speakers speak. Possibly. And then here's some one. So this one, I found this really interesting. Blood leaves. So blood leaves your body means you're bleeding. Well, I mean, there's not like a proper verb for bleeding. And then water die. He's thirsty. So no Miki would be I'm thirsty. To Miki would be you're thirsty. So on. So moonshine. I saw this. I thought of the alcoholic beverage, but no, it means moonlight. And then this one's interesting because they use walk. Nemi means walk, but it has nothing to do with the actual action. It's just I usually do it in a general sense, but they say I continuously walk, as Dore is saying that you do something habitually. And then on leave means it breaks out. That's kind of weird, but like I said, that's just how they're constructing these. This one in nouns, this example, a house, stomach, place, kalihtik would be inside your house. But I guess it would be something to do with stomach. It's probably got something to do with some of the religious rituals they did. Yeah.
Disembowelment.
Yeah. Yep. They got some crazy stories in their mythology that are better left untold. So these like are a little bit interesting. Like makech kostri is a hand necklace. This means a bracelet. And most people would think it's like some kind of rope that you would hang someone on or something. Yeah. Yeah, good point. Then
are all the things in English written in the same order as the actual parts of the word in Aztec?
yeah, like ma means hand, catch means neck, kos is a necklace. Yeah.
What's the TLI then?
The tree and the t, those are just general. Like if you study Nahuatl, like I swear, like every word ends in a t. See, yeah, just a general. Yeah. Oh, that's somebody had a question. Sorry. A hand thorn rope is translates as barbed wire actually. And then and this I thought was funny. A God power show. Is
Televangelist. Televangelist.
It's church or a religious establishment.
Any religious kind of thing, so you'd be pre-Columbian, so it wouldn't be church.
I don't think this word existed during, because it translates as church, which wasn't a concept. Because they had temples.
This was not a religious sometimes.
I mean for their religion. Yeah, I mean most of them. I mean some of them still practice the traditional religion, but they're very few. But yeah. Okay. Well, I suppose it's time. Oh yeah.
So I know that in the European context, they have groups of languages which then later on develop into less group of languages like Latin, where the entities to the nations be combined and suffix different countries. Has this happened in any of the derivative languages?
I do. What I see as a non-native speaker looking in is that there are. It does seem to be becoming the sounds seem to be multiplying, but it seems that it is becoming a little bit less agglutinative. Just because, like for example, like Tlashkamati or Tlashkamati, one of those two. It's something that stands by itself. That means thank you. But I think for the most part it's still like that. I think the consonant harmony rules that are as complicated as they are in like Inuktitut or those languages up way in northern Canada. It's not as complicated as those are, but it's still definitely present. I think they are making headway toward becoming less agglutinative though. So these are kind of difficult, but I'll give you guys a few minutes.
Oh my God.
Wait, does the top? Okay, I need to figure out what
Was what? A milpa is a it's like a translates like what cornfield, but it can be. But my native speaker said it can be used for any kind of field, any kind of farm field. That's a pre-invasion. That's a milpa is a word that existed before Columbus. Yeah. 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 I mean, they still use it today.
Right. Okay.
Actually, one of Mexico City's districts is named after that word. Oh yeah. The numbers are classic. The general words above it are modern Azteca knowledge.
The trick you do is not classic. Oh, yes, it is.
The numbers are classic. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, is everybody?
Oh, no, we're gonna go over it.
Is everybody done?
You know, do you remember when there were the new games? People were supposed to, the people are not naturally competitive. Only lasted I'm 72, so this was a while ago. I thought that was the stupidest thing ever saw. Games are just where everybody considered that, that's the ball. But if you say people are not competitive, this is what's happening here. It's like fascinating.
All right then. Time is up. So what did you guys think? The first one was the Earthman. Any ideas?
Human being.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty manageable, but you know, I could be wrong.
You were actually correct.
What is it?
Human being.
A human being. Yeah.
Greetings.
Sky.
God.
That's how it shows Skyman.
Oh. I understand that.
Oh, could you break that down again?
Oh, the that example.
Just the actual.
Oh, like Tlatekapa. That means earth, and Tlaka means man. It's in order. The till part at the end. Those are just subjects for now.
Wait, no, wait. What's your question? Like, if that word,
No, he has.
if that could be broken up?
No. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I just came up with another one. Sorry.
Oh.
Forget what I said. Maybe later. I don't want to break some of the
Any ideas for the second one? Flower field, garden. Yeah, you're all correct. Garden. Xochimilco. Xochimilco. Is that in Mexico? So cool. And oh.
From Nahuatl, that's the name of it. Floating garden. Yeah, that was made
Like the what do they call them? Chinampas? Yeah, chinampas. Those are so cool how they engineer that. Any gray idea for gray wood rabbit?
Squirrel.
Oh, jackrabbit. That's interesting. Squirrel. Oh.
Yeah, I would say it's
Oh.
I
failed then. I can't.
Most people don't know the difference between those and Wagner. So I said it's actually still a Wagner, or rather, it's sort of tricky, because I thought they would try to test the scientific knowledge as well as everything else.
Squirrels and raccoons and anybody know what a serve work pass is?
There you go. Brad, this is a
Yes. Nope. I'll give you a hint. They work in your house. A serve work pass works in your house.
Or
Yep.
staff member.
A servant. Yep. Yes, those are all verb root words that they just put kettle at the end to make it turn into an M. Oh, Tula's are any now. I think Cat might turn that into a person, possibly. I can consult my native speaker tomorrow if you like.
Server or what? Passive name.
So a hint for the numbers, it's a infinitesimal system, which just from Big Bang Theory is one of those examples. Just means that they use 20 as the base, so 24,800, whatever. Those numbers like that are what these numbers would be based off of. So,
Does everybody know what that means?
Is it 20 bases instead of 10 bases?
yeah, like French, for example, like quatre bon, like how they do like 20, 50, 50, 20, 10 is like 70 or 80. Yeah, I believe
420s
Gaelic,
is the number 80.
doesn't Gaelic use that or used to?
Celtic languages. use
Yeah,
that.
and I know Gaulish too. Oh yeah, it's so much simpler to say non soixante, huit ans. So a hand torso that's not really it's not very what's the word I'm looking for? It's correspond. There we go. It's not very corresponding to the other ones, but let's see. I'll give you a hand. So a hand is 5. A torso would make that. No. It's greater than 6, but it's smaller than 15. Smaller. Yeah, 10. Yep.
So it's now.
A hand.
Is there some,
Tarakli?
no, is there some way of figuring it out?
Not really. Not really.
They were saying is
Yeah, I mean it's 10.
it's hand, torso, or clock.
10, but not 10 of this or that, or like 10
And then 1 count, that's probably an easier one. 20, yeah. And then 1 back. Let's see. I'm trying to think of here. To the 3rd power. 8, yes. 8,000. A big bag of 20s. And then San Sontli is it's not as large as 8,000, but go down the power. 20 times 20.
It's not impossible.
400 for cents only, 1 hair. That'll be a bonus. We'll add on to the next check.
I heard something really interesting here from a native speaker of Spanish.
There are a lot of Spanish words that come from an island, and there's a name for a bird, Sensontle.
What?
Sensontle.
Okay.
That's a bird. It sounds like a relation. But I don't know what the relation is.
Oh, you said there's a bird called something? Oh, that's really cool.
That's in Spanish.
Well, I'm going to ask that tomorrow.
Is it a certain type of bird?
Yeah, the black bird, like, it sounds like a raven. I don't know if it's exactly that.
Remember the mouse?
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, the word Mexico comes from Nahuatl. Was it Mexico? Mexica. Yeah, Mexica. Cocoa.
Yeah.
Cocoa came from Mayans, I believe, right? Well, I mean, they got that word from them, but the concept is from South America, I think. Cocoa beans. Yeah, cocoa. I have I had a picture of the Mayan glyph for chocolate. I can pull it up on the internet. But yeah. So I need to. How do you go back?
It's the back arrow.
Oh, back arrow.
No. The arrow.
Separate
Arrow.
It's right there.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just gonna go back to the sounds and just mention how in classical Nahuatl before Columbus's time, or before he got to the Americas, it was like this, where it was somewhat, I guess, somewhat simple compared to how it's evolved. And when it changed into this, a lot of different sounds changed. Like in classical, they only had an L, which they call an approximant. Don't know what that really means, but it's become a liquid L or a liquid R, and they have this R now in Aztec Nahuatl, which may be from Spanish, may not. And they also have this glottal H sound over here, which is kind of like, it's like a that kind of H. There's so many different kinds of H's, and I think that may have come from Jota in Spanish, maybe. And also another thing, all of this group of sounds right here, this N, this T, this S, these were all in. So your tongue would touch the teeth when you would say these, like n, t. And then in today's sound used to be a dental one as well. And in this language, or Huastecadawa, they've all become alveolar, which I think refers to the area right behind your teeth, right?
Where the gums begin. The alveolar
Yeah.
ridge.
So the position of the tongue in making those sounds has moved from the teeth to that ridge.
So we didn't make any mistakes.
That's why I'm consulting with linguist experts, because I haven't taken that course yet. But yeah, and yeah, like I said, those may be from the Spanish influence. I'm not sure if alveolar sounds are common in Spanish, or I don't know.
I would think the opposite was because the Spanish is very dental.
Interesting. Questions?
Wow. Did you come across like where, because you mentioned the Chica, so Mexico makes all the come from there, and then what do you use in Mexico? I think that hasn't come across.
I'm not very sure.
I can answer that question unless.
But I can tell you about that.
Well,
Certain Spanish couldn't make the SH, so just French, something else.
kind of, in Spanish as I understand it, and I am no expert on Spanish at all. It's pathetic when I'm trying to speak Spanish, but I'm getting there. What I know about Spanish is that obviously it's a modern form of Latin, right? It's not just like one day all of a sudden you say, hey, let's speak Spanish. It developed from Latin. So Latin sounds change, like let's say a G sound, change in Italian to a J sound from a certain vowel, right? Like, gente, is that even the word? Like,
Yeah,
Germano, or whatever. Gelato, that's perfect.
Then there's forno and
I'm just talking about this one sound.
Gelato
So we
congelado.
got J.
Yeah.
And J is comprised of two sounds, D and J, together, if you break it down. And so when you simplify that, you get to what the French pronounce as je. So no longer je, je. This happened in Spanish as well. Now that became devoiced. So je, you take away a person's voice, then you get sh, like you quiet. So chico, and that's what they wrote X. X still has that value in Portuguese. That's sh. However, there was this weird, wacky phenomenon, not only in Spanish, but also in Polish and in some areas of Germany, where sh became replaced or confused with in the back. There's even a joke, like some people in this area of Germany, like they don't say fish, which is the same in German, they say fish. Fish, and I think fish. And so the same thing, for one reason or another, happened in Spanish. So at that time, it's arguable that the conquistadores actually said Mexico, but there you go, and the drink is sherry, and it's so that pronunciation changed over time, and it was applied retroactively to that.
And that's also probably why you have a lot of Europeans who talk about Don Quixote.
Exactly.
Because they were borrowed at the point before that change
Which is from the medieval Spanish, basically, or earlier Spanish.
I was going to say that the Japanese word Mexico is Mexico.
So I heard that so there's, there are
Todo como Sheroidas.
Royal Academy of Espanol, right? So that now they're becoming, the dictionaries are becoming more regional, and they're accepting more words, and the Mexico, I heard that from the Mexican, whatever, the head office of this cooperative linguist or whatever, that they don't like their country pronounced Mexico. But it's not true. But maybe the purist or something. It's pronounced Mexico. Yeah. I also heard, I listened to a podcast from Spain called America Hoy and America Today, and they said, a recent one just a couple of days ago, about invasive languages in Mexico and how the government is becoming much more supportive to prevent extinction of these languages.
There's still a lot of discrimination though.
There's still a lot of discrimination.
A native speaker told me that like if even the government, like a lot of they're requiring them now to know at least not a little basic Nahuatl, but you're still walking out on the streets and they know that you know another Native American language, then they think you're stupid, ignorante, they don't really know how to translate that the English.
Well, of course, in these
and stuff like that.
Discriminated against Native American languages. And in high school, Oklahoma, and that's why the language for all.
I'm just saying, despite these movements, common people still think that. Whereas here, it's not so. For dialects, because if they were, trust me, I would have found it. But they.
There are like two Mexicos. You have like a native Mexico and then you go to northern Mexico, you have a Tarahumara, and they call themselves Maramuri, but like, because, I don't know if they're Native American, but I'm also mixed. They will call me in the language Awachi, which means that I'm the people, and mixed. And they usually have, like you said, they still live like 500 years ago, whatever, 2 years ago, and they have a council that out of them they speak Spanish. But everybody else is just looks like they listen for, through those areas, they speak their own language. But yeah, you have Toti, Lepisha, you have a whole bunch of Peruano, you have, you have up to, I think 122 or 222 different layers, indigenous people. And like up to 70, something like that, diets. And but yeah, they're like they're separated. Like if you really want to, like I'm from the Aztecs. I was born in the Aztecs.
Oh, cool.
So it's like
you probably heard a lot of it.
Go into like like the remote areas in order to find like the town. In the major cities, it's like we don't get it. If they come down to sell there. know,
But if you have a period of the written language, the documentation is not going to have any convinced people.
That's the problem. According to the Summer Institute of Linguistics, there's three different forms. There's the government uses their own form, the Summer Institute of Linguistics uses their own form, and then there's this other organization that I'm not very familiar with that they use a form that's supposed to be more purist of classical Nahuatl. They're trying to keep it as if classical Nahuatl evolved, but with the same sort of sound. I use the SIL because their linguists are like, they got masters and PhDs, and they go out into the field, they're practicing with native speakers, they're developing lots of materials and translating stories and stuff.
But I think you will find interesting is like, you will find it makes people like people that look like you, and the people that look very indigenous. And you gotta understand, like, when the Spaniards took over the country, some actually didn't have words to learn, and they fought, and they lost. But then up to the north, you have the north and the west of Chihuahua. You have a North Canyon. And you check North Canyon, you check, there's a lot of caves, and there's a lot of like remote mountainous, areas where they actually like secluded to, and then the Spaniards they never mixed with them. So eventually, when they got kicked out of the country, they came down. But to the south, for example, the Otomíes and a whole bunch of other, native tribes, you have the jungle. So then they also went into the jungle, and the Spaniards never went after them. So you can find, like people that look like him, and they live in Monterrey or Guadalajara. So you find like people like me that come from like Aztecs, or you can find people like a lot of them else that is kind of like in the middle. But I thought that was pretty interesting that they took advantage of the terrain, features in order to not mix. But that's why, to this day, we have that many tribes. Yeah. So,
All right, everybody. Can you give Michael a hand?
Yeah.
Awesome. We're out of time, and I know that the patrolman here likes to come in and kick us out, but I've got enough. I think I've got just enough time to get through this. Absolutely not.
No, keep them for yourself.
If anyone is interested, some of us drink or bite to eat nearby. We can continue our conversations. No obligation. You're free to go or free to stay. Next time we will be learning about a very interesting job, accent trainer, and what that entails. It'll be exciting. You won't want to miss it. Bring your ideas to me for the future, my friends. San Valdez.